Hey guys, it's me again, Eric here at Mountaintop 9. And in this video, I want to talk about the Danzig album, Lucifuge. The second Danzig album, released back in 1990. And it's about time I talked about this album. I'll tell you what, the reason I put it off for so long was because back when, I was making all the Danzig reviews and other music reviews, well, somewhere in there, it was in 2020, I ended up doing that Danzig retrospective thing on the Downfall Network. And in that video, I talked about each Danzig album. So I thought at the time after doing that, I thought, well, I really don't have like a burning rush to do an individual video for Lucifuge now, because what's the point? I thought I just talked about it in the retrospective. But what I've realized is it's one thing to do something like that in a retrospective. It's another thing to have an individual review where you really focus in on one album. So I figured, hey, I better give Lucifuge its due and talk about it finally. Now, first thing is first. I want to talk about the first time I heard Lucifuge and the first time I heard that opening cut, Long Way Back from Hell. I got to put you in the scene. I got to put you in how I felt at the time. I had already heard the first Danzig album, okay? I was already very familiar with the first Danzig album at the time. And needless to say, when Long Way Back from Hell kicked in, the first thing I thought was, man, this album sounds more aggressive. It sounds more forceful, and it really just sounds like the violence, the anger, the energy of this song is just smashing through the speakers. That's how I felt at the time. Like, I was already used to the sound, the production quality of Danzig 1. When you think of a song like Twist of Cain and Not of This World and just everything else that's on that album, it has a certain production sound to it that, to me, is not as energetic. The production sound on Danzig 1 is just drier. There's a lot more space, and it just is more laid back to me. Even a song like, just think about when John Christ is playing a riff on a song like on Danzig 1, when he's playing that riff to End of Time. That main riff in the verses to that song and how John Christ's guitar sounds. Yeah, it has a biting tone to it, but it almost sounds a little too dry, too clean. Well, on Lucifuge, on Long Way Back from Hell, when that song starts, man, it just sounds like it's punching you in the face. And then when Danzig's vocals just come roaring out and he does that opening scream, you are off to the races, my friends. And that riff is just so, like he says, in the lyrics, Glenn says about malevolence sneaking up the spine of the world. Well, that riff is a very malevolent riff. It's very simple, straight to the point. That's what Danzig excels at, and that's what works with his voice. He needs very simple riffs to sing over, so his voice can really just sail along, just soar over the guitar lines. But where this guitar is simple, it's also evil sounding. It has a nice sinister bent to it. Just think of a riff like, I'm not saying this riff note for note is like it, but how riffs like Symptom of the Universe by Sabbath, have that sinister quality to it, the notes that are used. Well, Long Way Back from Hell's the same way, and it just sounds like a fucking sledgehammer hitting you over the head. And I love it, and the lyrics are great. My favorite part of Long Way Back from Hell, and it's just such a standout tune. It's such a classic. But I love those lines where he's saying, do you want to take a life? Do you want to cross that line? Man, if this song doesn't get your adrenaline pumping, then I think you need to go take some doses of fucking Viagra or something, my friend. You might need to go get your blood pressure checked, because this song will get you fucking moving. And guys, I'm not going to hype a song, all right? I'm not going to hype an album that I don't genuinely feel that way about. Go back and watch my Danzig 1 review. In that review, I tell you straight up that, hey, this album's got some good songs, but the production sound on it doesn't get me going. The production sound doesn't have the oomph that Lucifuge has. Lucifuge has that. It's got the songs and it's got the fucking production. It's got the sound that just puts your fucking balls in a vice and makes you want to slam something, man. Long Way Back from Hell. This is a standout Danzig song for the ages. I've seen him do it a few times in concert. He didn't do it at every concert I ever saw, but he did do it. He did it the first time I saw him. I remember the first time I saw Danzig live, he did Long Way Back from Hell, but I think it's a song that he'd kind of have at some shows and not at others. But it's a classic, man. Just an absolute classic. The next song is a classic as well. Snakes of Christ. Now this song right here has got an instantly memorable riff. That riff to Snakes of Christ, it's similar to the riff in Twist of Cain as far as the notes that it uses. Also similar. Martin Popoff, have you guys ever watched or listened or read Martin Popoff? I remember one time reading a review for How the Gods Kill by Martin Popoff, and I remember him pointing out that How the Gods Kill, the title track, had a riff that was a rewriting of Twist of Cain and that he used on Snakes of Christ, and then again on How the Gods Kill. And I can kind of see that when you listen to the notes, it is very similar. But guess what, guys? I don't care how similar, that riff may be, similar to Twist of Cain and How the Gods Kill, but the point is it's its own song. It's its own personality. If you listen to Snakes of Christ and then listen to Twist of Cain, they both got their own thing going on, all right? They both have their own spin on those notes that are playing. And Snakes of Christ is a rockin' song, just like Long Way Back from Hell, but it's also got some super vivid lyrics. The imagery that Glenn is painting in the lyrical department is second to none. It's simple, but man, it just paints images in your head. When he's saying things like Serpent Jesus, Snakes of Christ, nailed to a cross of a holy design. And then that part in the song where he's talking about pierce the side, start the legend with a funeral rite. It's just really, really good, vivid, lyrical imagery. So Snakes of Christ is just another really, really good song. It keeps the momentum moving really good. And then the next song, all right, the next song is Killer Wolf. And the first time I heard Killer Wolf, I just remembered being stunned by that pre-chorus and chorus part. That's the best part of Killer Wolf, man. That chorus is epic. And of course, everyone's seen the video for Killer Wolf where, it's that black and white video and you just see Danzig walking around and he's just making faces and fucking scowling at nothing. The video is really stupid. I mean, I don't care any way you slice it. That video sucks, but the song is awesome. The song's great. Just a great chorus. But it's the next song, Tired of Being Alive. This is another really standout cut. I love the emotive guitar playing that John Christ starts this song with right away. And what's neat about it is if you listen to Tired of Being Alive right after Killer Wolf ends, you'll see how important sequencing is on an album. When a band is making an album, it's never a good thing to record a bunch of songs and just throw them on the album in whatever order. No, what you want to do when you're making an album, you're an artist that cares about what's going out there to the public, you want things to be sequenced the right way. You want there to be a good ebb and flow to an album. Well, listen to that last note that John Christ is playing, that note that's really being strangulated at the very end of Killer Wolf. And then as you hear that note going away, when the opening guitar salvo of Tired of Being Alive smashes through the speaker, you can tell that that was sequenced correctly, that it had a purpose because it sounds natural there. It's smashing into the scene right as those strangled guitar lines of Killer Wolf are fading out. Tired of Being Alive comes on the scene, man. And this song is a bruiser as far as the music is concerned. It's got a nice driving riff to it, and it's got Danzig just singing some great, memorable lyrics. And I really like the chorus to it, you know, when it's very emotive what Glenn is doing on here. And Glenn is doing that in abundance on this whole album, putting a lot of emotion, a lot of feeling in his singing on here. I mean, just think I'm going to go back for a minute to Killer Wolf, all right? My mind's just going all over the place, but that's how good this album is. On Killer Wolf, when he's doing that chorus line, just one kiss, you know how the chorus goes on there. It's very, very emotive, just singing with a lot of passion, with a lot of bravado. Same thing on Tired of Being Alive, man. When he's singing that chorus, there's a ton of passion, a ton of feeling, and you can't help but feel like the singer, in this case Glenn Danzig, you feel like, man, this guy really feels like what he's singing. It's not an act. It's not a put on. Whatever inspired him to write down these words, whatever he was going through in his own life at the time, he evidently felt it. Because if he didn't feel it, he wouldn't be able to sell it to you now here in this song. This guy's feeling the words he's singing, and that's powerful, powerful stuff. Tired of Being Alive is a great, great track. Now, the next song on the album, I'm the One. I was never a fan of I'm the One, never have been. Dude, even as a kid, I thought I'm the One was a cheesy fucking song. Think about the words he's saying in the fucking song. The lyrics are just really fucking stupid in parts on I'm the One. I've just never liked this one. And think about it, even as a kid, I first heard Lucifuge when I was 11 or 12. That's how old I was. Do you know how mature you are when you're 11 or 12? When you're 11 or 12 years old, you're a fucking idiot. I don't care how advanced you are mentally, you're still a fucking idiot when you're that young. You're not smart. You don't have wisdom. None of that shit, okay? I mean, hell, I still have to tell myself, Eric, you fucking idiot, why did you do that? I still have to say shit to myself like that nowadays, let alone when I was 11 years old. And let me tell you, when I was 11 years old and I was listening to this album and I was enjoying every damn track that came down the pike, woo! When I'm the One came on, the party stopped on this track for me. All right? I'm listening to I'm the One, listening to that, you know, acoustic guitar shuffling about, and, you know, Glenn singing like he's Elvis, but he's Elvis Presley down in the fucking bayous, all right? And just laying that shit on real thick. I thought to myself, good Lord all fucking mighty. I thought to myself, heavens to Betsy, this is the cheesiest shit that I've ever fucking heard. What the hell is Glenn doing? Now you gotta understand, there's going to be someone in the comments section on here, or someone watching this video, that's going to say, well, how dare you? You know, Glenn had all these blues influences. He was drawn from this and that influence. Yeah, I got you. But guess what? I don't listen to Howlin' Wolf. I don't listen to whoever else he fucking grew up listening to. You know, that's not my thing. I listen to Danzig for the type of music that I was just talking about. That's the shit I like. I'm the One doesn't do anything for me. That's like from a different fucking planet as far as I'm concerned. So it doesn't do anything for me. But it goes beyond that. It's not only stylistic, you gotta understand, my friends. It's the words he's singing. He sings things in this song that are completely asinine. You know? Like the part about when he was 5 years old. All right, come on. I remember listening to that when I was 11 and going, that is the dumbest shit I ever heard. All right. So I'm the One I've never been a fan of. I didn't like the video. Once again, Danzig, here's the thing that it really gets me, guys, and I really want to point this out. Man, check this out. I wish that I had the budget and manpower around me that someone like Glenn Danzig had back then when he was signed to American Records, all right? And he's got producers, and he's got crew, and he's got all these people working around him. He's got people directing his videos when he's not directing himself. But the point is, he's got budget, money, people, manpower. And these are the videos he points out. Think about that, my friends. Think about that. You know, these videos for I'm the One and a Killer Wolf, it's just like, what are you doing? You got a budget around you, and these videos are just so, it's not just that they're cheesy, but they're also boring, you know? And it's just a shame. You think that you'd be able to pump out some really, really good music videos. Now, on the third album, I gotta say, the How the Gods Kill music video, that's an improvement. That video's got some atmosphere going on. You know, it's got a wind machine blowing their hair, making things look epic. It's set on this dark stage. And you got that alien imagery going on and all that stuff. That song had a video that was a vast improvement over stuff like I'm the One and Killer Wolf. But anyway, guys, I gotta call it like I see it. I don't like I'm the One. The next song is Her Black Wings. And Her Black Wings is a classic Danzig tune. All right? There's just no way around it. Everyone has pointed out how the main riff is the riff from Zero the Hero, the Black Sabbath classic. Everyone's already pointed that out, so I don't need to anymore. I don't need to belabor that fact. But I remember for Her Black Wings, the first time I saw that video, man, that image of Danzig standing there. And this is a lighting thing, guys. You got to understand this. What they do is what he's doing here. You know, at the video of at the beginning of Her Black Wings, when he's holding the cross necklace there and he's standing kind of like sort of almost like in a most muscular pose. In bodybuilding, they have a pose called the most muscular, and they're flexing their arms so that everything's looking all bulky and shit. Well, he's standing in a really bulky way like that, in a posing way, and he's got all the lighting just right, so this light's shining down on him, making him look even bigger, all right? Well, when I was a kid, that made a big impression on me. You know, I thought someone like Danzig was like, as far as bodybuilding was concerned, I didn't know like how big like professional bodybuilders were. Danzig's nothing compared to those kind of guys, all right? If you just like look at professional bodybuilding, you should see how big a lot of these motherfuckers are. But anyway, it's funny how in a lot of Danzig's videos, he uses this kind of lighting for dramatic effect, just to make him look even more muscular than he'd look if they didn't light it the correct way. But I remember that making an impression on me at the time, first time I saw the music video. And Her Black Wings does have a better video than the other two that I just talked about. It's a good video. It at least has some atmosphere to it. And the song is good. It's not one of my favorites, guys. I'm not really too keen on the subject matter of Her Black Wings. It doesn't really do much for me, but I do understand its importance. I understand why it's a classic Danzig song. It is memorable. But it's the next song, Devil's Plaything. Man, Devil's Plaything. I gotta tell you guys, from the first time I heard this song, I loved it. Think about how it starts out with those clean picked notes and Danzig singing in a very soft way. He's intoning the lines in a very subtle, soft, but emotive way, and it's just luring you into the song. It's setting the template. It's setting the stage. It's getting you ready so that by the time it finally kicks in with that simple guitar line, but it kicks in so effectively when the distortion comes and the drums and the whole band comes on the scene. It's just a masterful use of dynamics, going from soft to loud like that just makes it all the more powerful. And when Danzig starts belting out those lines, got a light, shines on me, it just sounds so good, guys. It's such a classic tune, and the chorus is memorable. It's highly infectious. But then as the song goes along, and it's doing those parts where Danzig's not singing words, but he's just howling. You know, that melody line that just builds and builds all the way to the end of the song as the song climaxes, and you hear Danzig's vocals layered, all right? Just belting out that melody line, man, it takes you to another place. This has always been, I think, Devil's Plaything might be the single best song on Lucifuge. I really do. You really just can't top the drama of it. It's a very dramatic song. It's very theatrical. And this is a song that has a kick-ass music video. This is a Danzig music video done right. If you can watch the Devil's Plaything music video, it really delivers the power of the song. It just cuts straight through. Think about the first time you saw the Danzig Mother 93 video, where it's playing the song, but you're seeing Danzig in the live setting, okay? Which is very energetic, very forceful. There's a lot of movement, a lot of feeling going on visually. Well, it's the same way with the Devil's Plaything music video. This video just really hits you with all the energy and urgency of the song. When you see Danzig performing live in front of a crowd and you see the band there and the dramatic lighting, it just really underscores the energy of the song. It sells it completely. So Devil's Plaything has a good music video, and it's simple. It didn't even need a big budget or anything. Most of the video is the band on stage rocking out live. So I think that's really the key to the success of the music video as well for Devil's Plaything, is the fact that it mostly just focuses on Danzig in the live setting. And if you guys have ever seen Danzig live, if you've ever been there, you know what it was like, all right? It was, there's a lot of energy at a Danzig show. Danzig would come out on stage. Now, I say would because I haven't been to a Danzig show in a long time now, okay? He doesn't go on full-scale tours, all right, like he used to. When he used to back in the day, I'd see him multiple times on a tour. But he doesn't do that anymore. He doesn't go around and tour all over the place anymore. So I'm speaking from in the past. And man, the cool thing about Danzig, not to get off too much on a tangent, but I loved being able to see someone that was going to come out and you never knew what was going to happen. He wasn't going to come out and just go through the motions. He'd come out on stage and go crazy, have a lot of energy. It wasn't so much he cared about hitting every line of the vocals perfectly. He just wanted to go out and go crazy, all right? And that kind of energy is infectious. It's contagious. You get that as an audience member because you're pumped up. You're like, this is an experience here. Now, the next song on the album, 777, it's my other least favorite song on the album. My number one least favorite is I'm the One. I have no use for that fucking song at all. 777, don't really have any use for it either, but it's not as cheesy as I'm the One. I don't like, I think it's plodding. I think it's boring. And I just don't like it that much. So I'm going to go ahead and skip to the next song, Blood and Tears, which I think is a very noteworthy song, because Blood and Tears is a very tender ballad, And, you know, at first glance, when you first hear this song, I remember the first time I heard Blood and Tears when I was a kid. I thought, wow, listen to this song. It sounds like an old 50s ballad or something. You know, I remember playing it to my grandma and saying, listen, doesn't he sound like Elvis? You know, and she liked the damn song. And it's not like my grandma was a Danzig fan. She wasn't fucking wearing the Danzig logo shirt and listening to all of his albums. But you could take a song like Blood and Tears and play it to people that weren't rock fans, that weren't metal fans. And they could get something out of it, because it's just Blood and Tears is like a timeless ballad. I think it cuts across demographic. A lot of different people could listen to a song like Blood and Tears and get something out of it. And Danzig sounds very impassioned vocally on this one. It's memorable. It doesn't hang around too long. It's not plodding and boring like 777. So overall, I like Blood and Tears for what it's worth. It's not a favorite of mine on the album by any stretch, but it's not an offensive song either. And it's the perfect lead up to the next track, Girl. What I like about Girl is the riffing on this song. It just has a really kick-ass main riff. And I'm talking about that riff that plays underneath the part that Danzig sings the verse lines over. That riff is a nice John Christ classic riff. There's really rockin' feeling to it, and that's just really the standout part about the song. Because overall, Girl as a track, it's not the complete track that a song like Devil's Plaything or Long Way Back from Hell, you know, those songs are just good in every which way. Long Way Back from Hell, Snakes of Christ, Tired of Being Alive, Devil's Plaything, you know, you can point to many elements of songs like those and say that works. Everything is gelling together. Everything is working together like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like 2 slices of bread, some peanut butter, and some fucking jelly. It's all going together. You smash it together. You put it in your fucking mouth, and it goes down nicely. That's the way those songs are. I would call those complete songs. They are complete. They have everything you need. A song like Girl, it's not a complete song, because I feel like the lyrics are just kind of trite. They're simplistic, but not simplistic in a real evocative way. They're not like painting the most vivid imagery in your head or nothing. They're just pretty straightforward. And then the chorus, it doesn't have a chorus that like takes you to the next level. Think of a tune like Devil's Plaything. When you get to that chorus takes you to the next fucking level. Girl doesn't do that. It's just Danzig just letting his vocals go and just howling at the moon. And just a very simple guitar pattern underneath that. It's not like taking you to that next level. But Girl does have that amazing main guitar riff for the verses. You can't knock that riff with a fucking stick. That riff is good, my friends. I just wish it had like the complete picture around it. All right, now we're at the final song, Pain in the World. Now, the cool thing about Pain in the World is we're back in the territory of a very evil-sounding Danzig riff, okay? Think about earlier on this album, on Long Way Back from Hell and Snakes of Christ. Both of those songs had sinister qualities to the riffing, all right? Sinister qualities. Pain in the World is the same way. It's a doomy riff, very doomy, very atmospheric. This is another dramatic Danzig song. And whereas I feel like on this album here on the second side, once we got to 777 and Blood and Tears and Girl, we didn't have like the greatest songs in the world. I feel like Pain in the World, though, closes this album out in a truly remarkable fashion. It really does take it out in a nice doomy way. Danzig howls the vocals more in a very convincing manner. And it's just got more of those, you know, evil type of lyrics that Danzig does so well. Pain in the World closes Lucifuge out in epic fashion. Now, guys, overall with Danzig 2, with Lucifuge, I already told you about when I first heard it, what an impression it made on me. And I remember my good friend at the time, who was also into Danzig, he considered it Danzig's best album. Now, at that time, we're talking about back in the early to mid 90s. And to this day, yeah, it's still one of the best Danzig albums ever. I mean, in my opinion, Danzig 2 and 4, both of them, man, right there. Right there. Sometimes I say Danzig 4 is his masterpiece, is his best album ever. But I'll tell you what, Danzig 2 is right up there. It's right up there. Just such a great album, such an improvement over Danzig 1 as far as production goes. Out of the first 3 Danzig albums, Lucifuge has the best production of the first 3. There's no doubt about it. Because the production on 3, it's not as vibrant as this production. There's a warmth to the production on Lucifuge that How the Gods Kill doesn't have. How the Gods Kill has a more, I don't know, it's not the same as the first album, but it is more dry and just more rigid sounding. There's just some kind of vibrancy and warmth to Lucifuge that the band never had again, which is sad. But man, who hasn't heard Lucifuge? I know you guys out there, if you're watching this video, then you know all about it already. You know all about what a classic it is. Anybody that knows anything about Danzig knows that Lucifuge is a classic. So let me know, guys, in the comments section what your favorite songs are on Lucifuge. If I had to pick 3, they'd be Devil's Plaything, Long Way Back from Hell, and I'm going to go with Snakes of Christ. I'm going to go with that as my 3rd favorite. So guys, let me know what you think, and I'll be seeing you again really, really soon.